The idea that I'm communicating to you is that something as fundamental as the brand name is your first opportunity to start communicating something about the business that refers to or in some way tells the story of some of your key differential qualities. So I'm going to show you some examples now of work that we've created that has sought to communicate some differential qualities for some brands through various selections and choices that we've made in the brand and brand collateral process. So I'm going to start by talking about some collateral that we put together for Nick Bruce and his Blinding Lights. Nick Bruce and his Blinding Lights, full disclosure, is my own wedding band. We play nothing but funk soul bangers, basically. That's the music we love. I'm going to show you this is some of the collateral that we put together. So the brand and the brand name and the posters that we've designed and everything like that, and any video content that we've produced, they're all designed to tell the story of our key differential qualities. Those differential qualities are, number one, it's a throwback band. So we play a lot of throwback hits. We've got an old school entertainer style frontman. So a lot of what we're trying to communicate is this is a retro band, and specifically we play a lot of funk soul stuff. So a lot of the design elements are inspired both by kind of Motown, Stax, Atlantic Soul style artwork from the 60s, and also a sort of 80s, Michael Jackson, Prince, that sort of synth pop 80s aesthetic as well. We try and incorporate a little bit of that sometimes as well, and you can kind of see it in some of the typography in the branding. Even in the name of the band, again, it's Nick Bruce and his Blinding Lights. So the format of that, it's not Nick Bruce and the Blinding Lights. That his is a throwback to, Bill Haley and his Comets. The fact that the frontman's name is in the band, again, communicates another key differential element that we are a frontman-led band. It's a show band. It's an entertainment spectacle. That's the message that we want to communicate. So we're trying to tell as much as we can in those elements, just to be as efficient as we can with the marketing. Here's some work that we did for Big Bear Bakery, what we were trying to do with them. So that's a Glasgow-based bakery and cake maker. They do a lot of weddings and they do some work for the trade as well. They specialise in things like cake tables. So they do because they do tray bakes, they do brownies, as well as big minimalist, chunky, fun, awesome wedding cakes. So what we basically did with their brand and with their website is we used it as an opportunity to communicate their joyful approach. So they really are about uncomplicated, good fun. We shot some photography for them and some video that was designed to emphasize that they are experts at wedding cake tables. So they'll give you a bunch of stuff, lots of variety. That's the kind of thing we wanted to drip feed through every decision we made at the brand. And if you look at some of the textures and things like that we used throughout the website, again, it's those types of colours and it's that type of sort of minimalist design. All of that together is designed to reflect this feel that you get from the brand. So I think that communicates exactly what you're going to get from Big Bear Bakery and what that experience is going to be like. We recently tweaked Lauren McGlynn's branding. Lauren is a wedding photographer who's based in Edinburgh. We basically just tweaked the branding and designed some new conversion collateral for her. So that was about conveying her joy. She wanted to, in her own words, embrace her inner goofball. So in turn, we wanted to get that across. When you're looking at our brochure, you should see lots of smiling faces. The type of photography that she managed to identify that she does really well, that stuff we wanted to get across in our brochure. Previously, our branding was her name, and in the top it had Arthur's Seat, which is a big hill in Edinburgh, but she shoots a lot of urban weddings and she's not necessarily just a hilly, landscapey style photographer. She also does urban stuff, so we added a kind of abstract set of steps underneath Arthur's Seat in her brand. I'm not saying necessarily anyone's going to get that from looking at the brand because it is very abstract, but what they are going to see is geometric shapes combined with natural shapes, starting to convey that stuff. And again, when you get to the sales collateral that she's got, you're hammering this idea that she captures this certain type of emotion. She's embracing her inner goofball, as I said. Those are just some examples of some businesses that we'll work with where we've worked with them to identify some of those differential elements and then start to kind of bleed them out through, sorry, that's a horrible analogy, communicate them through the various channels that are available. By the way, interestingly, Big Bear Bakery are not the only company that do cake tables. Lauren McGlynn's not the only person that captures joyful, emotional photography. Nick Bruce and his Blinding Lights are not the only throwback band in the country. What you will find is if you're the person that's communicating those key differential elements, as in putting it into words and putting it into design decisions and things like that, where your competitors aren't necessarily, then you'll get the credit for it in the eyes of a consumer, even if you're compared to someone who basically offers a near identical service. Genuinely, if you're the one that's smart enough to say it and to add the anchor of that language to your customer's awareness, and the other person doesn't, that often is enough. That often is enough to give you that leg up that you need to convert that sale. When you think about, look at your work and imagine your work was displayed on a wall, unmarked, unbranded, alongside a bunch of your competitors' work. Unfortunately, even your most discerning customers they're not going to have the level of appreciation and analytical skill that you can apply to your work. So they're not going to see the differences in the way that you're going to see them. So they're going to be able to identify much less of it. They're going to see that one person has a style that's different from another person, potentially in some cases, but they're not going to have the tools that they need to articulate what those differences are. So you can't leave it up to them to decide on what the message about your brand out there in the marketplace should be. You can't leave it to them to interpret your work necessarily, because they're not professional florists, they're not professional photographers, they're not going to be able to analyse it to the level that you are. So you have an opportunity to analyse it and to start adding language in a way that makes them, your consumer, basically think, well, I take their word for that. So such and such photographer says that this is what they do. I believe it. I'm going to start mirroring that language because they've given me that language to use. So now what you're actually doing is you're controlling the narrative. You're controlling what people are saying about you out there in the world.